We first brought you the exclusive last night of a young woman who claims she was kicked off a Spirit Airlines flight to Fort Lauderdale because of what she was wearing.
It was odd to hear, but Spirit is telling a different story. And tonight, we're hearing more from witnesses about what they saw. Local 10 News reporter Andrew Perez is live with the controversy.
We spoke to that young woman yesterday, and she had explained to us that she was upset because she felt she was wrongfully kicked off this flight, that the crew treated her poorly. Well, come to learn today, she's not the only one who felt that way. It was a Spirit Airlines passenger kicked off a flight from New Orleans to FLL. She says it was in part because this is how she was dressed. Now other passengers, strangers, are stepping up to defend her.
It was the injustice, the way they were treating this woman. You know, it was like, pick the weak one out of the crowd and pick on her.
We spoke with Catherine Supp via FaceTime. She sat in front of the young woman on the plane who we're choosing not to identify. The airline says the woman was accused of being intoxicated, so flight attendants went to talk to her at her seat. They allowed her to stay at first and then made some comments.
Her companion said, "We've got this, please let us stay on, we won't have any more problems." The flight attendant made that decision, and then as she was leaving, she said, "By the way, you might want to cover up."
Supp, however, says it was way more than just a mention.
2 or 3 times people came over and said, they're still not covered up enough. You're going to have to do something to cover them up. And she said, well, if you give me a blanket, I'll put it across my chest. I can't help it. These are my breasts.
Supp says the woman wasn't loud, says she was never acting drunk or misbehaving during the incident. She even covered up with this large white coat. She says the flight attendants were embarrassing the girl, so she turned around to console her.
I saw her with her hands in her face, and she's quietly sobbing, so I turn around to give her a tissue. And I start to say to her, listen, honey, it'll be all right.
So that's when she says that a flight attendant stormed over, told the woman that he had warned her. Supp says that she corrected him, told him the woman wasn't bothering anyone, asked who was complaining about her. She says she was polite about the whole ordeal. She was ultimately kicked off for interfering as well. At least one other passenger took to social media talking about how they were shocked how this whole incident went down and that this woman was kicked off. But the airline says that at the end of the day, this was a safety issue and that the crew had the right to do that in the first place. For now, reporting live at FLL, I'm Andrew Perez, Local 10 News.